time to get our trivia answer for today. So let's get that question again and figure out what the answer is.
Of course. So the question at the top of the show was, what is the scale used to measure the hardness of minerals? Did you guys have an answer for that? It is.
I bet Sam knows.
It's Mohs hardness scale.
It is Mohs.
Yeah.
That is right. Yes.
I think I've even done. I think I've actually answered that as a homework question before.
Probably, yeah.
So I'll pull up Mohs hardness scale.
Hold on 1 second here. Thank you. It is called Mohs hardness scale because Frederick Mohs, who was born on January 29th, 1773, so his birthday just passed, in the German town of Gernrode. His parents were merchants. He was well educated. His early studies were in physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Later on, he took advanced studies at the Mining Academy in Freiburg, Germany.
Yeah, and I guess
named
during this period, he also worked on perfecting his method of mineral classification, and he really focused on giving particular attention to the possible arrangements of minerals in crystal systems based on the external symmetries. I guess that's a way you classify.
Yeah,
Like
and,
the shapes, right?
and
Yeah.
exactly, and even like what that's really saying is, he was interested in how do we classify these things more accurately from a field perspective. So I'm out in the field. I just chipped a rock off the side of a mountain,
Okay.
and I've got to be able to make some sort of a classification here. And Mohs scale is still really useful in that sense also. It's really closely connected to what's called the scratch test, that anything harder than the thing that's softer than it should be able to scratch the softer thing.
Right.
So if we could jump to my screen just really quick if we have a second. I've just got the basic Mohs hardness scale pulled up. So like the hardness scale runs from 1 to 10, talc to diamond. Gypsum can scratch talc, but talc cannot scratch gypsum. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's what the
Yeah.
scratch test is.
It's like rocks, paper, scissors.
Yeah, in a way, it's exactly like that. And then there's other things here. Yeah, like here you can see, right? So like it says topaz scratches quartz, right? That's one of the ways we know. Topaz is definitely harder than quartz because it can scratch it. And it's like we now have you can see the Roswell hardness, absolute hardness scale or the Vickers hardness scale. Those are different measurements of hardness that are much more accurate today. But it's a harder thing to do if you're out in the field, again, cracking a rock off the side of a mountain. You want to be able to make an assessment fairly quickly, and Mohs is still really useful for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Didn't he also look at the shapes of them? I mean, was that something to do?
Oh yeah, sorry. So I guess I was saying what Nate was bringing up was he was also interested in classifying crystal shapes based on the like larger shapes. So if you get this big quartz block and you can tell that there are these cleavage patterns, you can make an assessment about what the internal microscopic crystal looks like based on how it's breaking at the external large level.
So that would have been important, like you said, out in the field. You might not want to do this scratch test, and you can just kind of eyeball it.
Exactly. It's like you want to be able to make that assessment without having to take into. Again, we have really fantastic technology today that can
assess
that
this,
mechanically, but not in the field.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.